The Galactic Xenobiology Academy's final exam was legendary for its difficulty. Students had to demonstrate their ability to handle unpredictable wildlife under pressure. This year, Professor Crothvin had decided to make it especially challenging. Today, he announced to the assembled class of 70 students from 20 different species, "You will encounter juvenile Scaran hunters. They are young, curious, and only mildly dangerous." A collective murmur of anxiety rippled through the lecture hall. Scaran hunters were notorious. Even the cubs possessed razor-sharp claws, enhanced senses, and pack-hunting instincts. Your task is simple. Remain calm, observe their behavior, and do not provoke them. Those who panic will fail. Crothvin gestured to his assistants, who opened 3 containment crates at the front of the hall. 6 Scaran cubs tumbled out, each about the size of a large dog. Their scales shimmered with iridescent patterns. Their eyes were alert and intelligent, and their small teeth were already impressively sharp. They immediately began exploring, sniffing the air, investigating this new territory. The students tensed. Most pressed themselves back into their seats. The Velcorian cadets formed a protective cluster. The Theran students activated their natural camouflage in panic. Only one student seemed completely unbothered. Emma Rodriguez, the human exchange student, sat in the 3rd row with her datapad, taking notes on the cubs' behavior. She didn't move, didn't show fear. She just watched with calm interest. The cubs scattered throughout the hall, and chaos erupted. One approached a Kralian student who immediately shrieked and jumped onto his desk. Another investigated a Velcorian who began making distressed clicking sounds. The cubs, excited by the reactions, became more energetic, more playful, and more aggressive. Then one cub noticed Emma. It padded toward her, nostrils flaring, processing her scent. Emma glanced down, made brief eye contact, then went back to her notes. The cub tilted its head, confused. This creature showed no fear, no aggression, no interesting reaction at all. Emma slowly extended her hand, palm down, letting the cub sniff. Its forked tongue flicked out, tasting the air around her fingers. Then, to Professor Crothvin's absolute shock, the cub made a chirping sound, the Scaran equivalent of contentment, and sat down at Emma's feet. Within 2 minutes, all 6 cubs had congregated around the human. One was curled up on her boots. 2 were wrestling quietly beside her chair. Another had climbed into her lap and was trying to help with her datapad. The remaining 2 sat alert at her sides like tiny, scaly guards. The lecture hall had gone completely silent. "Ow!" Professor Crothvin approached slowly. "How are you doing that?" Emma looked up from scratching behind one cub's auditory ridge. "Doing what, Professor?" They're pack predators. They should be agitated, testing boundaries, establishing dominance." "Oh, they already did that." Emma gestured to the cub in her lap. "This little guy tried to nibble my hand about 30 seconds ago. I just ignored it and stayed calm. No big reaction, no fear, no challenge. So they figured out I'm not prey, not competition, just neutral." She smiled. "Also helps that I probably smell like my dog from back home." Predators recognize each other. A Theran student spoke up, voice trembling. "You have predators on your home world?" "We are predators on our home world," Emma corrected. "Persistence hunters. These guys probably picked up on that." She gently moved the cub off her lap and stood, and all 6 cubs immediately followed, forming a loose pack around her legs. "On Earth, we coexisted with wolves, big cats, bears. We learned to read their body language, understand their behavior. These cubs aren't much different, really." Professor Crothvin watched in amazement as Emma walked toward the front of the hall, the pack of supposedly dangerous predator cubs following her like devoted students. "Miss Rodriguez, you've just demonstrated more advanced xenophonal handling than most graduates." Emma shrugged. "I grew up on a ranch with dogs, horses, and the occasional coyote wandering through. You learn pretty quick that most predators aren't looking for a fight. They're just trying to figure out where they fit in the pecking order." She crouched down, and the cubs immediately swarmed her for attention. Show them you're calm and confident, and they usually decide you're more interesting as a friend than a threat. The exam was quietly canceled. Instead, Professor Crothfin spent the next 2 hours documenting how a human could turn a pack of predator cubs into adoring followers through nothing but calm confidence and basic behavioral understanding. Later, when the cubs were returned to their enclosure, they made distressed sounds and kept looking back at Emma. "They've bonded with you," Crothfin said, somewhat apologetically. Emma grinned. "Yeah, that happens. I have that effect on animals." She paused. "You guys wouldn't let me keep one as a dorm pet, would you?" "Absolutely not. Worth a shot." As Emma left, Crothfin updated his exam protocols. Note to self: humans possess an inexplicable ability to befriend nearly any predator species. Further study required. Also, never underestimate species that evolved alongside apex predators.